So what sucks about being a plumber? I got to tell you, there are some things that suck about it, but at the end of the day, plumbing's a good job. And as long as you remember there are things that suck and you remember it from the very beginning, you're going to do good at this because there's things to know. And that way you know how to deal with them. You know how to address them. I started plumbing 40 years ago. So I've got a lot of experience and I understand why it sucks. I also understand why I messed up. What did I do wrong? What kind of things have I done that I should have done different? And if you'll listen to me and listen to things I tell you and you understand that as you come into your career or get better in your career, it's going to help you out. So I'm going to talk about those 5 things and I'm going to talk about them right now. Number 1, the working environment. Most people would think, well, man, plumbers work inside a building. They work inside people's houses. And for the most part, you're right. But what if you're in somebody's house and you need to go to the restroom? I'm just saying, what if you've got to go take a dump? You don't just go to the customer and say, hey, can I use your restroom? That's not right. So maybe you've got to leave. What if it's wintertime and you're working outside on a water leak? It's not always good and we don't get to come in when we want to. I remember one year on a big commercial job out at DFW Airport, it was 30 degrees outside. It was cold and we were working outside in the tramway where the old trams used to go. We were putting pipe down there and it was 30 degrees. It was cold. We can't control that. We can't help it. We can put on so many clothes to try to stay warm, but you know what? The working environment is what it is. Also, I'm in Texas. In the summertime, God, I remember it getting up to 113 degrees before. That's hot. And there's nothing you can do to stay cool if you're outside working in an area like that. The fan, man, I love it, but it blows hot air. So the working environment as a plumber is not always great. Number 2, man, this is hard on your body. And I just got to tell you, it really is. I'm 60, remember? Well, almost. Here's the thing, just getting under a cabinet now, laying down on my back with the bottom of the cabinet base pushing up on me, getting up in there and trying to work overhead, my shoulders hurt, my back hurts, my hips hurt, my knees hurt, my hurts. It's that bad sometimes. But here's the thing, if we watch ourselves as we're younger, I'm talking to y'all, think about what can you do to put a prop right there, something to maybe make it easier on you. When I was young, I remember picking up 6-inch cast iron pipe, climbing up a 10-foot ladder to hang it in hangers. Guys, we don't even do that anymore. We use roustabouts, we use duck jacks, we use different ways to lift it. But this is hard on your body. Think about it. 60 years old, I can't even tell you how many homes I've crawled under. Crawl spaces, pier and beams, whatever it is, getting down under there and crawling around, it will wear you out. So think about that as you're doing it. Are you investing in knee pads? Are you standing up? Are you stretching? Are you getting limber? What are you doing to get yourself in a position where this doesn't hurt you? Because I'm telling you, if you don't do something to protect yourself, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you bad. I know some plumbers these days can't even hardly move. And I got to be honest with you. I hired a plumber recently. He was 60 years old. Said he'd been plumbing just like me 40 years. He came to work for me. He had taken off for about 3 months, sold a company, came to work for me for a day. Came in the next morning and said, man, I got to quit. I can't do this. He said, this is harder on my body than I thought. And guys, look, it is hard on you. But think about that. Take care of yourself while you're younger. Don't lift more than you should. Ask for help, but take care of yourself. Eat right, work out, do things right, and you can do good at this. Number 3. Now, this is a tough one because I can argue both sides of it, but number 3 is no retirement plan. And I got to say that because some of the best plumbers I've ever worked with are open shop. They have no retirement plan. They didn't work for a company that had a 401k, or if they did, they never put any money into it. Most plumbers, most old plumbers are still working because they don't have a choice. Think about that while you're young. Are you investing money? Are you putting away money to build your future? Now, don't get me wrong. If you're young and you're thinking, look, I'm going to own my own company one day, I don't have to put money away, that's fine. But make sure then you're working towards building that company and always look that direction. Because if you're not, if all you have is a job, if you're working for somebody else and that's all you're doing, what are you building? You need to make sure you've got a retirement plan. Now me, I joined the union a few years later. After 17 years of plumbing, I joined the union. Now, that was over 20 years ago. So I've got a pension built up. That's going to be nice to go with Social Security and what money I did put in 401k. So there's a lot of things there that I've worked towards that are going to make it where I can retire. Hopefully for me, the company does well enough that I can take care of my employees too, so they have a retirement. So think about it. That's one thing bad about being an open shop plumber. A lot of people aren't looking ahead at a retirement plan. Number 4, and I got to be honest here, most people in the trades are idiots. Okay, maybe not most people, but there's a lot of them. I mean, think about it. Here in Texas, you can be in the trades with a high school diploma. How many people do you know that have a high school diploma and couldn't pour water out of a boot if you wrote the directions on the bottom? Now, I know people like that. And don't get me wrong, y'all, it's normally the electricians that are the dumb ones. I just had to throw that in so you'll know. Most smarter people are smart enough to be plumbers. But here's the deal. Think about it. There's a lot of people that get right out of high school and they just start looking for a job. And plumbing may be the one that they come across. That's kind of how it happened to me. But here's what you can do to be better. Remember, you don't have to be that. You can be whatever you want to be. So start studying and keep studying and always make yourself more valuable to the people you work for. That will help you move up. That will help you get promoted and help you do better things. Now, look around the people you work with. I mean, if you work with 10 people, you should be able to look at about 8 of them and say, okay, I'm smarter than they are. So what can you do to better yourself? Educate yourself. That's the most important thing. The education is one thing nobody can ever take away from you. Now, it doesn't matter to me if you didn't go to college. I didn't go to college. But you got to admit, looking around in the trades, there's some idiots in it. I've seen people do stuff that's like, that's going to leave a mark. There's no reason for that. Remember, you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room to be a plumber. But you know what? You can be the smartest plumber in the room if you'll study, if you'll learn to do things right, and always try to improve yourself. And once you improve yourself and add value, now you're worth more money to your company. Number 5, and you're going to love this one, it's a job. Now, here's the truth about it. It doesn't always have to be like that. But I tell you what, I remember walking into a job, and this is probably 30 years ago. It was my first company that I worked with doing service work. And we got a call to go to an apartment complex, and I went to it, which was kind of funny because we normally don't do apartments. But I went to it, and I'm walking down the hall. And I mean, even walking down the hall, I was like, okay, this place is scary. So I get to a door, and it's not really a door. There's a door open. But I mean, it's like you look in, there's people's living room. So you knock on the door frame, and they're like, yeah, just come on in. Walked in. I went to the bathroom, and I got to tell you, one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. It was a job. It was full of it. It was flowing over. It was over the seat. There was so much poop and paper and stuff like that piled up. And I got to tell you, I said, I can't do this. I told them, I said, look, y'all got to clean this up. Y'all got to get it to where I can get in here and work. And I got to tell you, I didn't do it. So can it be that way? Absolutely. Now I just look at the situation. About a month and a half, 2 months ago, I was working up on our house, and I knew the sand and the lead bin, I knew they were full. They were loaded. So what I did, the way it was done, somebody had put it together with a jackleg husky band or something, and the band was jammed up where it was keeping everything in there. So I literally took a 5-gallon bucket and jammed it right where that gasket was. Everything in there went down in the bucket. Passed the bucket out, got it outside, went right back to work. Guys, here's the deal. It is what it is. And I have people tell me all the time, I don't want to do plumbing because I got to deal with poop. Well, you know what? You don't deal with it that often. It's really not near as bad as you think. As long as you remember that and you understand, yes, there are days, it is what it is. But the good thing is we don't have to be electricians. And as long as we're not electricians, we got it made. Remember, take care of yourself. Work out, exercise, eat right, do things to help you last longer in the trades. Keep a positive mental mind. Understand, look, I don't have to be an idiot. I can understand, I can learn, I can educate myself. And if you're starting out in the trade, if you have questions, ask the plumbers. But ask the plumbers in a way to let them know that you really want to learn. Make plans for retirement. You're going to retire one day. One day you're going to be as old as me. And you're going to wish you didn't have to go to work today. I'm to the age that if I would have started in the union right out of high school, I'd already be retired. That would be nice right now. Matter of fact, it'd have been a few years back, so it'd have been really nice. Plan on that retirement. Always educate yourself. Look, I'm 57. I am almost 60. I still learn new things every day. But I want to. I learn about new products, new tools, new equipment, new anything to help me get better at the trades. And if I'm educating myself and getting better, it lets me do whatever I want to do. And also remember, it's not always a job. Now, next week, I'm going to put out a video to tell you the 5 things that make plumbing rock. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber. See you in the next video if you don't get flushed.